So if you don't live under a rock and care anything about politics or news media, then you will know that Kanye West, Milo Yiannopoulos, and Nick Fuentes were briefly on the Timcast IRL podcast last night. And during the brief time that they were there, they had pretty heated conversation that started about the relationship between, well, basically the so-called anti-Semitism that people have been accusing Kanye West of. And I do say so-called because I hold my own opinions of that. And, well, I would say that we can discuss that, but it doesn't seem to be a thing that's happening too often. That's neither here nor there. I am not going to talk about the overall overarching issue of what was being discussed there. There's one thing that I want to focus in on this specific video, and that was actually something that I'm responding to right now, or criticizing, not responding to. Criticizing right now because Tim Pool did his, his 10 a.m. segment. I'm an avid watcher of Tim Pool. I watch all of his segments. And he was talking in response to the situation last night, as he should capitalize on that, and inquiring minds want to know. Long story short, he said something that's very, very specific that really, really, it was the most beautiful part of the podcast to me last night, was when Ye caught him with the so I can't generalize when I'm speaking about issues with the Jewish community, but you told me that I was going to be good for the black vote. And he asked him what he meant by that. And they can have their conversation about that, but I'm going to zone in on what Tim Pool said today. Just a few moments ago, I just watched him say that what Kanye West said was an oversimplification of what he meant. And I just beg to ask the question, when you sit there and boil what Kanye West is saying down to, Kanye is saying every single Jew in the world is marching in lockstep with one solid agenda, don't you think that that is a gross oversimplification? Don't you think that you should allow him the same freedom to use sweeping generalizations in order to convey a generalized message? Or is that something that you can that's only allowed by those who, say that it's allowed? I'm not being too eloquent here, but what I'm trying to say is that they were both oversimplifications. For you to allow yourself the leeway to be like, shouldn't it be obvious that I wasn't speaking about every black person? Why wouldn't you allow Kanye West the exact same level of understanding? That's all I have to say about that. I thought that was a very interesting point. And I really think that that summarizes the gist of the issue here, is that one person says one thing, and because it doesn't, sound good to you, you find all these different ways to disenfranchise it and say very similar things about what's going on without the context of what this one man is saying in order to protect and massage your relationships. That's the issue.